What's going on, guys? Brandon here. Coming to a video with Netflix. I promised you guys Thursday I'd do a little breakdown on Netflix about the swing trade Thursday to Friday, why this was my #1 watch on Thursday, and the trend line I was working with at this all-time high. There is no resistance on Netflix, so pretty much, that run at all-time highs that we have here, and what I was kind of looking at with the trade in general. First thing we're going to notice, if you take a look at the trend line here, if you look real close, we're working with red candle tops here. I don't like to use greens or wicks when I usually do the daily chart. Sometimes I do once in a great while, but when I'm really breaking stuff down for a main watch and it has this kind of setup, really like these red candles. We start here in the body 922, fade the top here 10-9, and that's actually my birthday. Comes through and does interact with a couple more red top candles here and has a pretty strong ascending trend line here. So why did this look so good? Why did I swing it Thursday to Friday? Let's break that down. For this past area right here, this 3.2 to 3.8 had a very nice break above this ascending trend here that we had drawn out from 922. It had a breakout for quite some time, actually multiple days. But the main thing I want to focus on is these three candles. When it bopped off the 9 here, had a nice run out of the channel and had a nice big gap up day and ran again up to this nice whole 326 area, and then kind of consolidated chop, made another high, but then just kind of faded and got back into the channel. But that was more or less the interesting point I see when I was looking at the daily on Netflix. I was just kind of staring at it for a while, trying to find some kind of interesting points on it. That was one of them. So what you look at live in the last couple of days that we were trading it, it kind of has the same feel of the last channel break that it had. So in big tech, a lot of the times it does break out of ascending with crazy news. And the main thing was when I was talking about those mergers, when those bills passed, Netflix getting merger news with all sorts of things. It had Time Warner Cable, I think, was getting bought out by, I don't know, I could actually look in the news while we're even chopping around here. Yeah, but I mean, Disney, Comcast, a lot of stuff was getting merger hype because of the one merger going through for AT&T, and that was like so huge that they couldn't do that before, and it's been long awaited for mergers. Anyway, we're talking about that pre-market and how big tech was just going to go bonkers, and there's going to be a bunch of media jam and bid wars and new bills coming out, and who's going to get the mergers approved and who's not. Well, that's going to cause a lot of hype in the tech. So it had a really good catalyst for me while I was looking at this to go, okay, well, will it continue out the channel break? Will it keep going? Well, it did it once before, had a good move to it with these three candles, and it was looking damn near like it was going to mimic it on Thursday, and that's why I swung it. Got a little luckier because I was hoping for 400 to reject. That was my call on Netflix. It did 399, so I was about a point away. On a big tech, that's still relatively close. But after this channel break, let's break it down on the 1 minute here, take a peek at what we were looking at. Okay, so Thursday was the day. It was on my main watch, right? Let's go to the 5-day quick. We're talking about Thursday here. When I was talking about Thursday, it was buy all the dips. Well, why buy all the dips? Well, the main thing that I was taking a peek at here was this ascending trend line that we have. So on Thursday, apparently I woke up and I'm like, man, we're over this trend line again. We had a little bit of the, popping over it Wednesday, and, watch that. That's why Netflix was going to be on huge watch for Thursday, So I'm like, we're out of this ascending trend line that we have here. So that's big. So I'm like, okay, buy all the dips. And the only reason I was confident in that is, look at this pre-market movement. Wednesday after hours has the slow grind up, had a test of this 382.99, 383 area, where it pretty much triple topped here, created a hold at the 50 here, and then just higher lows after that and just ramped up. It was super strong. There was like no signs of any kind of sell. It was just a beautiful couple, micro pullbacks, respecting the trend lines here. Big tech loves to do that, especially in the VWAP over-unders. So that's why I said buy all the bits. So initially when we opened up here, I missed my entry because I was looking for a little pop, any kind of drop. I would have gotten anywhere around 385, but this would have been obviously your greatest entry, the double bottom right there. And if we take a look at it on the 1 minute, which we usually trade pre-in here, it had a double bottom off the 200 EMA. And big tech on the 1 minute 200 EMA is kind of like a bread and butter bounce area. So something to remember there. So Thursday, this thing bounced up. I missed my entry. I was too busy losing money on TAL, so that was no fun. So I missed the big run-up. So I was like, okay, well, on the next pullback, I'm going to try to get in. And that was already way, after this nice double bottom 200 EMA is already running past here, which would have been fine for a buy-in, just kind of, risking these tops and see if it was going to break through, and you could have a stop set for VWAP, but I was busy focusing on some other stuff, unfortunately. So I said, well, let's wait for a midday sell-off, and that's what I called it in chat and live and everything else. I'm like, well, hopefully it'll have a nice little sell-off. It happened a little earlier than I thought, but no, sweet. It came back, so I started accumulating shares above the 100 here at that 387, I think 40 something was my fill, and then 387.70. We started getting some shares here because it had a nice shy away from the 200, had a sweet ramp off the VWAP. This thing just blew through the 100, so I started getting shares here. Came up, sold off a little bit because we had made a couple points here already on the way up, so you pay yourself, right? I'm already right on the day. I want to pay myself, leave some shares on. Let's consolidate. It has another big drop, and this is where I'm like, well, I don't know about this drop because this could be, let's see how this thing holds up. So we're staring at Netflix big time here. Let's see how it holds up. Perfect bounce in the VWAP, shy as the 200, does another run up. I'm like, okay, well, this heavy consolidation holds the 50, we're good to go, right? So my next add point, I wanted to see, where this thing was going to go. I didn't really feel comfortable buying in quite yet because we had all this chop. Here on consolidation. It's holding the 50 though, so it was good. It had to ramp up, but right when it came back down here about 390, that was my add point. It kind of had a little double bottom here at 390, 389 and some change, like this micro 1 minute here. These two 3 candle wicks here that touched at 390, 389.85 area, but at 390. So I decided, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna get in if that holds on 390. Okay, I'm in at 390. Added a larger portion, hoping to at least maybe get to the top 390. Let's make a couple $100 off a couple hundred shares, right? Get a point out of it or something like that. So it ended up coming up so strong after that. I'm like, wow, let's see what this thing does the rest of the day. So we held it on for the end of the day there, and it ended up grinding nicely after that 390 test. Further to the end of the day, I ended up taking profit up here at 394. Got myself green on the day. After paying myself on this dip and then paying myself after the re-add up here. Now, this thing started selling off a little bit, but didn't really have a big sell-off. And I'm talking like big tech sell-off. This isn't a big tech sell-off. A couple points is not a big tech sell-off, and we're not even near the 200. So, that's a huge player when we're talking about big tech. So it kind of shied the 200, came back up in here, kind of, just again, looped it a little bit here, had that little micro cup, broke under it, found real good support, and shot right back up, and then held the 200 again all the way through after hours. So awesome. So my shares that I left on, 125 shares, no big deal. We paid ourselves, we're green on the day. Now there's the risk, and we're in pretty much even after it came down all the way back down to 392.50 after paying ourselves and re-averaging in on a couple of these dips. I think I ended up somewhere around 392.40s was my average. So no big deal. It's coming down to kind of like red here, and I was kind of like, okay, we're even at the end of this when I couldn't watch it anymore. I'm like, no big deal. So I checked my phone later on in the day when I was out of my meeting, and I'm like, okay, I'm up couple points, great. No big deal. Netflix trade is working out. We're up 200 some bucks on the swing. No big deal. Well, I can't really trade Friday because I go to bed Friday morning at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and it just, lack sleep. I just can't trade that. That's just psychologically not a good idea. So as I was in here, I was like, okay, well, I'll set an alarm and for the swing, and I was confident. I didn't actually have a stop set, which is a kind of a big no-no. I was kind of more confident than I should have been there. It kind of worked out. Obviously here, it probably would have scared me out a little bit here, but having that 0.40s average back here at the 392 area was like, I didn't see any of this pre-market. I set an alarm for when I checked it up here at these after-hours tops. I'm like, man, once I get to these after-hour tops, I want to be woken up by my phone, and usually my girlfriend will let me know that my alarm's going off or something dinged, because if I don't hear her wake up, she's always up that early with the baby while I sleep. So there's the explanation for that. But after hours, I'm like, okay, let's just set an alarm for that. So I'm sleeping, and she's like, blah blah blah, it's going off 394.57, which was the after hours highs we had here. And I'm like, oh no way, that means I'm up. All of a sudden I come and I look at those, I'm like, holy crap, like I have a stop set, like that could have been bad. But she ended up looping pretty nice here and having another big run. But that's what we were kind of hoping for when you look at that on the break of the channel, right? It was that continuation day where it would run at least another day, 3 in a row, which I was kind of banking on from the last time it kind of rolled up, 1, 2, 3, and then that third day kind of having a continuation above that channel. So luckily it worked out, and I had a $400 target in mind, which I called live, and I was really hoping to see 400 before a big pullback, but it did make it up that high. So either way, alarm's going on, I'm barely awake, looking at this thing, going, okay, where am I going to take profits at? We're already up $250 or so when we hit this after hours number of the 390.45. So I'm going to let it go. Okay, so it's having a micro consolidation, looks strong. Okay, well, it comes up and we're over yesterday's highs now, right? We're killing it. It's coming up. We're like, okay, well, I took most of it off right here at this last pullback after it ran huge. Unfortunately, I only had 25 shares left because I want to pay myself that $200. I'm just like, man, I should cancel off and leave like 25 or 50 on. No, I canceled out pretty much all of them. I left 25 on, so I got another about $100. Got a little scared out of the extension after it was gonna have a big sell-off. Made another 100. Either way, it wasn't too bad of a swing call. So that was kind of the swing idea of Netflix. It worked out well because I thought it was going to magnet to 400. It was very close to that. And Friday for intraday here looks like you had a lot of nice opportunities here on Friday trading. So congrats to anybody that took that and you didn't get shaken out pre-market. I still have 400's target on Netflix, especially with all the merger news and stuff like that. This thing is just going to go pretty far. It might have happened today or next week. Might come into the channel, might mess around a little bit, but I don't see it. I know Citron said 340s or something like that, like down here. I can see where sure top here near 340 and the split and 340 here at the top of these candles, like triple, like that's where it'll find its support. I don't know, maybe. I doubt it. Now with all this news and this crazy hype, like I don't see it, but that was their call. So I just want to give you kind of a small breakdown here, what the thesis, what the thought process was going through Wednesday, Thursday with Netflix, and why I called that swing there, which ended up working out quite nicely. And you can expect a sell-off in the morning. Like that might not have shook me out. I might have sized down a bit. To be honest, like the emotional level of trading smaller shares isn't as big as those penny stock swingers that they do. So only having 100 some shares or 250 shares or whatever you end up at averaging down, like you're winning, for my account, losing $200, $300, $400, risking even that 390s area maybe would have been okay. And that's kind of where it looped a couple points here and just pulled, had that high run. So I don't know. Either way, it worked out. That was kind of the thought process of what we were kind of going through in the channel break, and just kind of wanted to go over that trend line with you on a stock that has that look to it, where there are no tops, there are no resistance. They're at all-time highs every single day it runs. It's at all-time highs. So, but that's why I was so prominent on it Thursday. That's why I was number one watch on Thursday. So I'm gonna give you guys a little breakdown on that, and hope your weekend's going well. I'll talk to you guys Monday.